my thoughts on the My Little Pony comics books from IDW.
This video is not intended for children under the age of 13 years old. The comment section has been turned off. It's because YouTube did it, not me. I am an adult, not a child.
Hello and welcome back. It is me, Margaret Espinosa, coming in with a very late video. I've been very late on the My Little Pony content. I apologize. Life has been crazy. But I'm going to talk a little bit about my feelings and thoughts about the comics. This isn't a comprehensive history of the comics or really me even bassing them. But I guess I should really start off with like where my journey with the comics starts. I remember being younger in the fandom and hearing a few people sporadically bring up the comic book's existence and being fairly ambivalent because I wasn't much of a reader, and comic books were especially uninteresting to me in the early years of their existence. And keep in mind, the comics have gone for a while, pretty much since the start of Generation 4 being more popular. Even though right now, from what I hear, it's up on the air whether or not they will be renewing the license to continue to publish IDW comics for My Little Pony. There's a lot going on with Hasbro in their company, so I'm not too surprised we're hearing about them being a bit wishy-washy on publishing right now. But I will bring that up. I'm pretty sure they'll renew it. They've renewed it any other time it comes up. Although I'm not sure how popular recent comics have really been. They felt more popular, but maybe it's just because we're clinging on to any content that comes out now that's possible. Another thing I always hear people discuss is the canonicity. Personally, I don't really care if it's that canon. I choose to. I have it in B canon, which I define as being able to pick and choose what I think is actually true from them. And in that context, I think the comics are pretty cool. They provide a lot of alternate realities, but for me, B canon is where they will lie, and I'm okay with that. The first comic book I remember like actually picking up was a Nightmare Rarity one at this magical store that had all kinds of media. So it had stuff for like, it was like Hot Topic, but a lot more book based, called Hastings. And I know they're mostly closed across the US. I believe the whole company went bankrupt a while back. I remember coming across a Nightmare Rarity comic and then finding it's one of the ones in the arc. I don't know which one it was, and there's like alternate titles. But I remember a specific panel that kind of messed with my head a little. I get it, Nightmare Rarities make a nightmare thing, but dang, that was a little spooky what she did to Spike there. And that's all I remembered. I put down the comics and said, I don't like this. I'm too little for this. It's not my thing. My next interaction ended up being at a library where I was doing summer reading program things, and I was picking up one of the My Little Pony chapter books done by Gillian Barrow. I probably said her name wrong. And not that far was a section at the time. It's in our library, and it had My Little Pony comics. And I kind of just looked at what they had, decided the others looked boring, and picked one about King Sombra. I believe it's his like backstory comic, and it was the only one he had at the time. But it's the one where they go about his backstory and talk about how he's a part of the Umbra with Radiant Hope. And I remember I checked it out. Half of it was actually read in the library while we were chilling, and then like the other half we read at home because both me and my sister were looking at it. One of us checked it out, we both looked at it. And I vividly remember being very like impressed by it and being like, "Wow, I like having a deeper understanding of this character." Just to find out that it's probably not completely canon, maybe like Radiant Hope is irrelevant to the So, for instance, but that's just one example. The Umbrant aren't confirmed to exist in the So, which is a separate issue in and of itself, in my opinion. But I love me some good My Little Pony comics because of that. And I kind of ended up orienting towards darker comics after that. And then I kind of just ignored the comics again for a few years with like the vaguely traumatizing memories of King Sombra's backstory haunting me. And I circled all the way back again at the library checking out a comic book about the pillars. I don't remember which one, but it was an alternate cover they had, so it's more difficult for me to figure it out. And I thought it was fine. I think it was a Legends of Equestria or Legends of Magic, probably Legends of Magic. And it was okay. It wasn't as good as the King Sombra comic. I had yielded to that. And at some point in between, I obtained the My Little Pony the Movie prequel comic, which also is B canon, but it's less B canon in my opinion. I feel like it makes enough sense that it doesn't need to be in B canon if you don't want it to. So that's where I had my involvement. I like them. Sir, I might only own two, specifically the one I just mentioned because I got it at Scholastic Book Fair from IDW, the My Little Pony prequel comic. And about a year ago, I found the Rarity Micro comic at Walmart, and it was so old they didn't have a price for it. It wasn't on the directory, so they're just either supposed to, like, when they're deleted off an inventory, they're supposed to throw it away or something or donate it. She said to put in my pocket, the employee. I'm not going to call out anyone specific. And I got a free My Little Pony micro comic about Rarity with a little poster, and it was cute. I like it. It's probably the least interesting comic I've read, but it's only because I didn't like. I kind of just thought I got it for novelty. I didn't really pick it for storytelling. It's good though, and I'm glad that Generation 5 got its last hurrah through the comics. I'm not so sure where the future of that's heading at this stage, but I'm glad we had it while it lasted. I guess support the comics if you want Hasbro to do anything with Gen 5, because it's like the last vestige that they might invest any time into. Just know that going forward. It's not exactly the most popular generation amongst fans. And trust me, there have been unpopular generations in the US, but they thrived in the toy market. They don't thrive in the toy market either, Gen 5. I would like to thank you for watching. Yes, my voice is hoarse. I had things happen. I have very bad allergies. Bye.